Now that it's here, what's the significance to you?
Well, right now, I think we're very happy that we accomplished this. I mean, we didn't start the season saying we're going to win 70 wins. We just wanted to play hard, and we came out. We didn't really play outside for basketball, but somehow our defense stuck. Kind of got hot and defended them pretty well in the fourth quarter, and we were able to hold them down, and next thing you know, we made some big shots.
Throughout the season, you have never reminisced about the past, about Michael Jordan, the titles. That's been up to the fans and the media. What has been your focus, and why have you always looked ahead?
Well, we're just trying to win another championship. I came into this season with a lot to prove individually. I think we as an organization came in this season with a lot to prove, so that's the motivation right now. We haven't achieved what we want to achieve, which is the championship, but this is pretty close.
Has this been tiring? Has this taken a toll going into the playoffs, having every team play as well as they have against you in the quest for 70?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. We have never had any off nights. I mean, every team that come to play us hard, which, we really have to keep ourselves motivated. Tonight, we were maybe a little lackluster, didn't have the same type of motivation. Milwaukee came out with nothing to lose and played extremely well, and we did all we could to try to get back in the ballgame to win the game.
With the reckless abandon that Dennis Rodman plays with, are you concerned at all that maybe he's going to lose it sometime before the playoffs?
No, I think Dennis is very focused. I mean, he made his statement. He knows the city loves him. He knows he's a very integral part to our success. And I think we're going to be able to control him. He's going to come out and play 110% every night, and every now and then he's going to show emotions, but I don't think it's going to be to the point where it's distracting or it's going to harm the team.
Any concerns, or what's the biggest concern going to the playoffs?
No, I think we know that the playoffs is a whole nother season. What we've done tonight and what we've done this season was to position ourselves for the playoffs. But I think we know we got to start from scratch on April 26th and get ourselves ready.
Welcome back. Congratulations, rewriting the record book once more.
Thanks.
All right, Ernie, as we mentioned, the Bulls get their 70th win, a madhouse here, but we got our man, and they got the record. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Mark. Michael, you were so businesslike all day. You knew this was not going to be an easy task, and you rose to the occasion.
Well, the first game is always a tougher game. I don't care what anybody says. I think Utah came in, they played extremely well. I'm pretty sure they're going to take a more victory from today's game, but I think we had a good feel for them. We found out a good feel for them, and down the stretch it was nip and tuck. It could have went either way, and I missed the free throw call, comes down and missed 2 free throws. So MVPs didn't do much down the stretch until I was able to knock the shot in down the stretch.
It was almost like a boxing match, sparring. Nobody really throwing a knockout punch to it got down to the end.
No, it was a close game all throughout the game, and it was going back and forth, and whoever made the best plays down the stretch was going to win the ball game.
Well, it is on. It is on. And we will see you on Wednesday. All right, great game. All right, let's go over to Jim Gray.
All right.
The New York Knicks, and let's check in with Craig Sager.
Well, Michael, obviously you had to get the whole team involved. It's a 48-minute game, but the fourth quarter, 2 minutes, 16 stretch, that's where the game was won when you outscored them 10-0.
Yeah, we made some big plays down the stretch. Defensively, we were able to hold them pretty stagnant. And, we got some big baskets by Scotty in the fourth quarter, and Harper had played extremely well all game, and I think Steve Kerr came in and gave us a minute. So, when it came down to where we had to do something, we finally did it.
Any congratulations or comments about your coach being named Coach of the Year today?
I'm happy for Phil. I think he's very deserving of it. I think he's done a heck of a job with all the personalities and the different talents that we have on this team. He's blended to where it's a very powerful basketball team. I'm very happy for him.
No back pain?
No, I feel good.
Great. Michael Jordan. Let's go back now to Vern.
Thank you very much, Marv. Mike, it wasn't supposed to be this difficult today, but you struggled. The whole team really struggled. Back-to-back take its toll?
Well, I think we were a little tired, but I think up to the third quarter, we executed pretty good offensively. Defensively, we did a good job. We had a nice 11-point lead, and then they made a strong push. Ewan did what I did yesterday, keep his team involved, and it took a miss by him so we could take advantage down the stretch.
What about all the offensive rebounds today? 23 to their 4.
Well, we were just trying to beat the boys. We hadn't really been shooting the ball good, so we're trying to get as many shots as we can.
Did you call your mom today?
Nah, but Mom, happy Mother's Day. I love you a lot. And my wife, happy Mother's Day.
Same to my mom. Back to you, Marv.
All right, thanks, Bob. Michael, you've won 5 NBA championships, but this one is a very important championship, isn't it?
Yeah, a lot of people felt that if we didn't come here and win the McDonald's Open, then our championship would be tarnished. I didn't take it in that effect, but we quiet all the critics and basically came out and even though we were not at full strength, we won the tournament, and I'm very happy to get off the year on a good foot.
Everybody came out to see you. 27 points in 29 minutes. They got a view of Jordan, didn't they?
I hope so. You know, I just do my job whenever I'm on the basketball court, and you know, I don't know if I please him, but I did my job.
All right, congratulations to you, Michael.
Thanks.
All right, Bob. All right, thanks, Bob. Michael, if the Pacers planted a seed of doubt by winning the last 2 games, it was certainly not evident tonight.
Well, they were playing without a key member, so we decided just to attack the people that they had, see who they're going to have to replace them. And you know, Reggie didn't seem to have the energy that he had in Indiana. I don't know if the ankle was bothering him or what, but we tried to keep pressure on him as much as possible.
You told me before the game that the playoffs are all about intensity and pressure, and you guys applied both of those tonight to the Pacers.
Yeah, you know, I was saying it earlier. We haven't been put in this position in a long time, and this is good for us, I think, to learn how to focus and to go out and do our jobs when we have to do it. And you know, we like to go ahead and take care of business early, but you know, we've had problems early, and you know, our backs are to the wall. We had to come back here and win a game, and now we got to go back to Indianapolis and win a game.
Tonight, it seemed like all of you guys were focused, and obviously the plan was just to attack the Pacers.
Well, it's very obvious that we were focused. I mean, you can see our all-around play. You know, everybody came out and contributed, and you know, when we play our best basketball, that's when that's when everybody's contributing. And you know, tonight was a good example of that.
All right, Michael, congratulations on a good game. We'll see you on Friday. All right, back to you, Bob. All right, thanks, Hannah. Michael, you've been telling me all season that you couldn't wait for the playoffs to start. There's just a couple of weeks to wait. Do you find yourself really gearing up for that?
Yeah, I am. I've been working out quite often and just trying to get myself mentally and physically ready for the playoffs. I know this is the end of the season. We still got a lot of things to do, but you know, this is the time that you have to elevate your game, and I feel this is the time that I have to elevate my game. Hopefully the team feels the same way, and we can finish the season strong.
Do you feel like the team is getting in that playoff intensity?
I think so. I think we're working towards that. We got a couple of guys just working themselves back off the injury reserve, you know, Bill Cartwright and John Paxson, which gives us a good opportunity to get ourselves back together.
All right, congratulations to you. You've had a wonderful season. I'll see you in the playoffs.
Right.
No, I won't. I'll see you in a couple of weeks. All right, back to you, Anna.
Did they tug on Superman's cape today?
Well, I felt a good rhythm tonight offensively, and you know, we didn't really have a great rhythm tonight, and you know, times I just had to use my athletic ability and take one-on-one a lot of times, and I was able to make some big shots.
What was going on? I talked to Phil before the game, and he said Mike might get 45 or 50 tonight. How come he predicted that?
Well, I know we were coming off a embarrassing loss against Houston, and you know, we were coming back facing a team that really has given us troubles over the last couple of years, and you know, I just felt psyched up for the game, and you know, I came in with a lot of motivation to get back on the winning track and play my heart out.
Yeah, I noticed on the last basket you took a hard look at the Knick bench.
I did.
Were you aware that how close you were to a triple-double during the last part of that game?
Yeah, I was aware. Pippen made me aware when he missed that. But that's okay. We got to win. That's all that matters.
What was the difference in Game 1 and Game 2? It seemed like you guys came out very much prepared, and they really, were you disappointed in the effort that they had?
Well, we came out on the heels of what we did last game, and we were ready to take any adjustments that they made. They really didn't make the adjustments that we anticipated, so we basically stayed in the same focus that we did in the first game. And, you know, right out from the beginning, right to the end of the game, we just maintained our defensive pressure, operated, moved the ball around, got some good shots.
You told me earlier, a couple weeks ago, that was defense that wins championships, and you guys showed that tonight.
Yeah, we did tonight, but we know we're going into Utah, and they play well at home. The crowd's going to be real loud. These are countrymen pros. You talk about Stockton and Malone, they're going to be ready to play.
All right, Michael, congratulations on a great game. We will see you on Friday.
Thank you.
All right, let's go over to Jim Gray. Let's go back to Marv Albert.
All right, thanks so much. Obviously had a great regular season. This is the second season. You don't know what to expect. What's your assessment of the performance tonight and how rough and all the technical fouls?
Well, as you see, both teams wanted really bad, and it's a pretty physical game. And you know, mentally, you got to keep your head into the ball game. You know, you can't let the little things get your head out of the game. And you know, I think we kept our heads in a little bit longer than they did. And this is how this series is going to be. It's going to be a tough series.
How much more comfortable are you this year at playoff time than you were a year ago?
I feel more comfortable with my teammates. You know, myself, I feel good physically and mentally, but I think the whole season gave me an opportunity to see what type of team I have and how I fit with that team, and you know what the roles are on this team, and so we can come in here and play a lot better as a unit.
The Black Sox scandal to start the game. What's the story behind the Black Sox?
We figured we wanted to do something different. You know, when we went to the black shoes a couple years ago, now everybody's doing the black shoes, and we decided to go with the Black Sox.
Tim Hardaway had a great first half. You guys shut him down in the second. But what problems does he create for you?
Well, the screen and roll. He's such a good shooter from the perimeter and also a good driver. When he's hitting his jump shot, you gotta force him to drive, and he's strong when he drives and penetrate and dish it off. So when he's hitting that three-pointer or hitting that jump shot, he's very tough to deal with.
Thank you very much, Michael.
Sure.
Michael Jordan, the leading scorer. Now let's go
back on the winning track. Tom Doran, Red Kurt. The Bulls win it tonight, 103-86. MJ, different Bulls team out there the third quarter opposed to the first two quarters. You give the guys a pep talk at halftime. What happened?
Well, I think at halftime we had to go back and evaluate this team. We haven't seen them at all season long, so it falls back to just getting used to a team once again and then coming in the second half to make our adjustments. So we made good adjustments in the second half.
Did you also have to make adjustments without your starting center and rebounder out there and Luke and Dennis?
Yeah, I mean, this team has always been able to grind. I mean, we know we have to dig deep within ourselves to try to find ways to win, and that's a part of being a champion.
All right, Michael finishes up with 27. Bulls win it 103-86. Steve Cascio takes it after this. Scottie Pippen did it all with 32, and the guy did it on all ends of the court. Pip with also having 10 rebounds and the 32 points. Hey, nice job. Number one, how did the knees feel in the ankle? We saw the ice on the knees and the stimuli, and I know that you rolled the ankle the other night. How do you feel physically?
I feel good. I'm healthy. I think there wasn't much for me to do. Scottie came out and got hot, and we just kind of rode him for a while. Everybody came out of the blocks pretty fast tonight, and really, you got into a good rhythm. It kind of put them back on their heels, and they never recovered from that.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what happened in that first quarter that enabled you guys to get out to that 35-8 start?
I think it was our defense and our offense. Everything started to work. We created turnovers and initiated breaks, ran when we felt we had the advantages, and we just really took them out of what they wanted to do.
You battled the NBA's fifth leading scorer last night, Mitch Richmond, the fourth scorer in the NBA, and Latrell Sprewell tonight. Give me a grade on how you think you did against these two guys over the past two nights.
Well, I just tried to. They made me work on the offense as well as on the defensive end, and it's always great to go against some challenges like that and just see how you stack up against some of the best two guards in the league. And I think in our team winning has really put some pressure on them because they hadn't really had the help that I've had on the offensive end as well as the defensive end. So I'm happy with the way I played against both of those guys. I mean, that's just one game, and I'm pretty sure they was as excited as I was to compete against them. And Sprewell today was not really in his rhythm, and I tried to make that happen throughout the course of the game and not let him get into a rhythm. And everybody seemed to help out whenever we had chances, but they never really got the chance to hurt us like they're capable.
You excited to take on the Sonics Sunday?
Look forward to it.
Thanks, Michael.
Sure.
And now let's go to Luke Canellis, who's standing by with our British Airways. Michael Jordan inside. It's getting tough, Lou.
Boy, that was a tough one. They had Jackson back. They had Smits back. Those were the old Pacers, weren't they?
Yeah, I mean, this team's going to present a lot of problems to get in the playoffs. They're mature players, veteran players. They know how to play the game. They missed a lot of easy shots. Reggie missed a lot of easy shots, and he makes some of those threes. Next thing you know, we're down the wire.
You talk about, Reggie before the game said that because he spent some time with you on the movie set this summer, that your relationship with him has improved, that you guys had a chance to talk. Can you expand on that?
It's just a mutual respect. I think, we had a chance to play against each other, play on each other's side, and, I got to know him as a person. He still competes hard, each time we go against each other, but it's a mutual respect there, and, I'm glad I had a chance to sit down and talk to him and, just spend some quality time with him to see what type of person he is, and, he's a great competitor.
In Washington, I showed you the back page of the New York Post. You said, bring it out when it's time. It's time. Are you excited about this? They're the #2 team in the East. You guys are #1.
We're looking forward to the challenge. I mean, we defended our home court with the one game. They're looking to try to come in and show that they can defend their home court, and, they feel they improved, and I think they have over the, course of the season, but this is a chance for us to go up there without Tony and see how well we can play in Madison Square Garden. It's a big game. I look forward to that game, and we just got to go out and play our type of basketball. They're going to play with a lot of intensity, a lot of energy. It's a playoff style, and those types of games I enjoy.
Congratulations.
All right, Marv, thanks a lot. Michael, congratulations on the win, but late in the fourth quarter, some fireworks. What was going on there between you and Jalen Rose?
Jalen and I, we play very competitively, and at times when we get tangled up, we're just trying to get the advantage on the other guy. And we got into a little bumping match, and I think he kind of carried it a little bit too far, but that's what happens when you got two competitors out there. I mean, I have high respect for him. I think he has high respect, but I know we try to play each other very, very tough, and it kind of got out of hand a little bit.
Do you remember the last time you played the Pacers and you only had 6 points and it was a tough loss? And a little bit of motivation for tonight?
Well, it was motivation in the sense that I felt we didn't play well, and they played exceptionally well at home. The first half, I was just trying to get everybody involved. I know this team, they're going to try to do everything to try to contain me early. I'm never going to be able to get my offense until I get somebody else involved in the offense. And Richard came in and got hot, so they got to pay attention to him a little bit, which, in the second half, as you see, I got better shots, better opportunities, and that's when we're at our best.
All right, Michael, thanks so much.
Thank you.